Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the square sharper, makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my BFF, my co-host, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we feeling, buddy? You doing all right?
I,
The highs and lows of being a Bears fan all in one game.
listen,
I'm listening.
I, I watched that play. And as you can imagine, I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And when he throws it 50 yards to the back of the end zone over two Los Angeles Rams and it's a touchdown, I, I, I called my house because, I'm in Miami. So I called my house because my son is still home from break. And no words were spoken because he's got a bunch of people over at the house. And it sounded like it was Soldier Field. There was so much screaming going on. And because I'm in a hotel, I can't do the same thing. But I'm like, did we get Patrick Mahomes? Did we get Michael Jordan? Did we get Josh Allen? And then I felt it again when he got that third down and short in the overtime. I'm like, the guy is just so cool. And then he throws a pick, and the Rams kick a field goal, and they cover, and they break our heart because the Bears don't go to the NFC title game, and we don't cover. So, Simon, we're going to get into that game, no doubt. Just glorious. I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts. A wild weekend of football. We didn't even bet the Broncos and Bills in the contest, but we're going to probably want to talk about that game more than any of them. Pour one out for our buddy Matt Mitchell. I feel terrible for him. So we're 1-4 again this week, back to back. First time that's ever happened. Lost in the most gut wrenching ways so many times. Seattle, San Francisco under 45.5. San Francisco plus 7.5. New England minus 3.5 was the win. New England, Houston under 40.5. And of course, the Rams minus 4.5. I think our last ones out were the Broncos-Bills over, which of course cashed by more than 2 touchdowns. So that was a kick in the dick. You ready to get into this thing?
Let's do it, brother.
You know what? All right, let's start with Seattle, San Francisco. The under was 45.5. The side was 7.5. We talked a lot about this game. We thought it would go one of two ways. We thought Seattle would blow them out, and the way the game would go because of the injuries for the Niners, they just wouldn't be able to score that much, or it would be really close. That's why it was Chad's choice, and it would be tight and low scoring. It was the former. The problem was when you give up a kickoff return, then you give up a field goal off a fumble, and then you give up a touchdown and off interception later in the game. They still only covered by only overcovered by 1 point. But it's like the Niners were doing everything they could to help the Seahawks score touchdowns, and the Seahawks were doing everything they could to not score touchdowns.
Yeah, that was just another total meltdown by the 49ers, which I can't believe. Just because the game beforehand, 2 weeks ago, they obviously only scored 3 points, 49ers. You just thought Kyle would figure out a way to attack that defense, right? He's one of the smartest minds in football, but he struggled, Purdy struggled, and just like you said, the start of the game, I thought the under was going to be dead. You get a kick return like that with low totals, it's like, okay, going to need a little help. Going to need one quarterback to not show up today. And I mean, I'm not saying Darnold didn't show up, but I think he only had 12 completions. Neither quarterback had a great game. Just the defense, the Seattle defense was so dominant. Every possession was on a short field for their offense. And yeah, I mean, they're looking like the best team in football right now. 41 points. They absolutely dominated that entire game. And bad bet by us. Not so much on the total, like you said, bad beat on the total, but 49ers side, we joked a little bit, or at least I did, that, I had a couple people asking, is this just like the Carolina number, right? That number was minus 7.5 on Seattle. They nailed it, right? It was just no contest. Seattle totally beat the bricks off that 49ers team. And, it's tough. like you said, it's never that easy when you're taking big dogs like that. But we had the 7.5, the close, and a lot of books at 6.5, and it's like didn't even matter. Those take your good number and go home with it. We're gonna absolutely dominate this team. So it was what was 17-0 first quarter.
Yeah.
Never felt like we ever even had a chance of getting even a back door. I think they settled for the first field goal. They go down again, then kick another field goal, and it's like, okay, that's how Shanahan's playing this game. You settle in for threes here, and that was it for the 49ers team. Just totally outclassed by a healthier and better team right now than Seattle.
Look, it was so frustrating. I landed in Miami last night at 10:30, and I think when I was in a cab on the way back from the airport, the Seahawks went up 34-6. And I knew next touchdown, and there's still a quarter left in the game, and they still barely scored another touchdown. They were only doing it because the Niners were giving them zero choices. Like they had to do something with the ball, right? They were just too close not to move. Um, so I do think it'll be curious. Now we got a Rams Seahawks NFC title game. The two probably best teams in the NFC all season are playing each other, which is great. You want that to be the case. But wild, man, totally wild. And like, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second because I do want to get back to the Bears game in a second. The other game, um, the New England Houston game, another one. Simon, let me go through this. Matt Mitchell, I apologize. I'm jumping around on the the rundown here, but we're going to go to New England for a second. It was the second time this weekend. We had the under 40.5. We had New England minus 3.5. Good call by you, by the way. Um, for the second time, our total completely undone by turnovers. Simon, 8 turnovers, plus a couple more fumbles that were recovered by the fumbling team. Wild game. Let me give you some context here. First touchdown was off of a fumble, a 27-yard drive. Second touchdown was a pick six. Then there was a field goal off of a pick. These are the scores, 17 points directly after a turnover, 17 of the 44 points. The rest of the game, 13 punts and a turnover on downs. So if not for the turnovers, I don't even know if there were 30 points in this game. Like we were so on about this game, except neither team seemed to want to let the other team have to drive the length of the field. It was excruciating, completely excruciating.
Yeah, and honestly though, I thought CJ would struggle in the weather. That was, like you said, shocking because of how bad he was with the ball the week before. You would think the biggest thing they'd coach into him this past week is just like, hey, you can take risk if you need to, but just be safe. We have the best defense. Like if you don't give short fields, we're going to be able to put our weight into this New England team, which they did. I mean, their defense was dominant in that game.
Dominant.
And like you said, New England had 21 points. I think they had 130 yards though. It was like the most bizarre stat they were showing. But yeah, I mean, can we not give a ton of props to Drake Maye? 3 touchdown passes against that defense, big time. Like, and again, he was stupid too with the ball. What do you have? 2 fumbles he lost. I mean, he
He's
was
terrible.
holding on to the ball for too long, and that was just a game where we were just trying to survive with the under. And I honestly always felt like eventually New England would break through and they were going to cover that number, just because it just felt like CJ was totally lost. Like he was never going to find it. Another stat they put up there, I think in his last 7 pass attempts, he had thrown 3 picks. It was just a total anomaly. So, I know Bears fans have been running around with that meme since he tried to tell Caleb Williams he's going to be a great player this week, which once again, he was right. I don't know why they beat him down about it, but the stats are insane about how bad CJ's been. So I don't know what they're going to do. It's a quarterback that as a rookie, he was incredible. And from having bad offensive line play, it feels like they've ruined him, where it's like he's got happy feet and his decision making was really piss poor. Because, like you said, their defense was so good. Like they
So
just were not
good.
giving up anything. And yeah, New England now a game away, playing a backup quarterback from going to the Super Bowl. We would talk all the time, like a quarterback with the right head coach. It's just crazy how it just changes everything. And I think Milton Williams was talking about he never thought in his life, coming obviously from the Eagles to that team for a bag of money, he was like, I thought it was gonna be a 3-4 year rebuild, not 2 years. And I know Caleb didn't do it. He didn't come through, obviously, and they didn't win that game, but we were a play away from him not throwing that pick away, throwing that pick that we would have 4 quarterbacks all in the championship game, all brand new basically to these teams. They all of them have been on these teams for less than 2 years. So it was a pretty wild. I mean, no Stafford's in there now, but still, these second year quarterbacks, incredible. Almost have 3 of them in the championship finals.
Well, look, we would have been if not for Bo Nix breaking his ankle on the second to last play of the game before they win that game in overtime. And look, that was a great call by you. Simon Says was the Broncos plus 1.5. And of course, the very first thing that I said this week in that game was I feel like I want to take the over. I know we're talking about the best defense with the Broncos, but these two teams lighted up in the second half. And then we completely chickened out on that bet when it came to putting our picks in. And look, we're all going to feel terrible for Josh Allen, but I do want to point out at the end of the game that the tools he was working with were Mecole Hardman, who, if he had run that route a little bit flatter to the left instead of fading a field, then he probably catches that ball. That was the one right before. And by the way, Mecole Hardman, who had just gotten off the practice squad. So he's barely got any practice time. He hadn't been on the team all year. And then Brandon Cooks, who caught that ball and then didn't catch that ball, he's been on the team for a month. I mean, if I'm the Bills, I don't care what it costs. I know I have Josh Allen, and I've seen what Josh Allen did with so little help this year. I'm giving up whatever it takes to get the Steelers to let me have Mike Tomlin. Because you just said it, Simon. The coach makes such a difference, and we've seen what a difference he makes with such bad quarterbacks. What he could do with Josh Allen, I don't care who else is on the team.
Potentially. I mean, the man is 0-7 or whatever his last playoff games, Tomlin. So I don't know what they're going to do. But the first step is what you just said, firing Sean McDermott. I mean, if you had an owner with a pulse as the Bills, he never would have got off that plane, especially when he's calling up a reporter on the plane complaining about the refs, where it's like, dude, own it. Own it. Like Josh Allen, was that suck that he cried because it's not a good look? I know you probably have compassion because, once again, Chad has kids. I don't love kids. So seeing a grown man cry like that, it's like, dude, get your shit together. But I get why he's so hurt. 4 turnovers. He is not. You can't blame the refs in a game you have 4 turnovers where 3 points decides the game.
3 points off of a fumble at the end of the first half.
That's my point right there. That to me, you just nailed where it's like that's why you need to fire your head coach. If you maybe a Tomlin does have the ball, just say, hey man, we have 17 seconds, no timeouts. I get it. You want to get every point. Just take the knee, go into half, and they're just, he knows that he missed the guy there at the end too, where he probably could have got a touchdown or whatever with Kincaid, but like you said, Josh, they've been failing him. We've been talking about they've tried to get him a number 1 receiver. It just has not worked since they let Diggs go. Even Gabe Davis, I know he's not obviously that great, but you see Diggs making plays for New England. It's like, couldn't they use a Diggs? They could use a Diggs type. It's just Josh Allen's been missing that. So I don't know. Got to fire the coach. Got to spend a ton of capital, obviously. But that game to me, I mean, it sucks. Obviously, the Broncos fans, but Bo Nix, what a game by him. I honestly, a roller coaster of a game where it's like, the Bills' defense were getting stops. They kept getting all those turnovers, and the Bills kept holding them for field goals, which again, that was the most shocking part of that game. They kept getting stops, and Bo Nix, big time at the end of the game. They couldn't run the ball a lick. I think he had to throw the ball 46 times or 45 times, and they won that game. So I really couldn't get over watching it. Like you said, I'd bet it. I think I had, or at least I gave on the show them first half as well.
We did do the Broncos first half,
and that to me was the game changer of the game, where I was just hoping for 3, and he took that deep shot for a touchdown. It's like, okay, this is a moment Bo Nix is living up to it. That was a big time throw before the halftime. And obviously they got gifted the 3, and that was just a total game changer. So Yeah, sucks. We missed on that one. I will say I went back and look. I did give you a 50-50 chance. I said it's up to you, Chad. Rams or Broncos. And unfortunately, you went Rams, which again, I get it. You're trying to protect against your feelings, but
But also, I do
Broncos
think
were
you
scary. Betting them
you
against betting against Josh Allen is terrifying. So,
yes.
even with whatever that was, 4 turnovers by him and Cook's a turnover, still a 3-point game. Josh Allen, he's terrifying.
The dude was ahead, was behind. He came back with a minute down to tie it. And if not for a quirky 50-50 ball, they win that game. I mean, that game came down to so many millimeters of judgment calls. Meanwhile, Matt Mitchell and I were talking this morning, and he made a really good point. He said, if anyone thinks the NFL is rigged, then the NFL would have made sure that Josh Allen, who has created some of the most exciting moments in the NFL playoffs over the last 6, 7 seasons, who has been in the middle of some of the most exciting games in the NFL playoffs the last 6, 7 seasons, would make sure that he gets to the AFC title game instead of Jarrett Stidham.
And again, another reason to fire Sean McDermott. We all agree Josh Allen's not the problem, even though I guess you could say he was a problem in that game. 4 turnovers, obviously, but he is the first quarterback and the first coach in NFL history to have 8 playoff wins and 0 Super Bowl appearances. Which again, it's at the end of the day, you look at all the stats over his career in the playoffs. You cannot blame Josh Allen. You just have to fire this head coach. I can't believe he still has a job right now. It's crazy.
We're gonna dig deep, deep, deep into the Jarrett Stidham starting for the Broncos in the AFC
Oh yeah.
Championship game against, excuse me, against Drake Maye when we get to the show on Tuesday. But for everybody in the world who is freaking out that it's Jarrett Stidham starting in the AFC Championship game and saying, "Oh my God, the Broncos are in serious, serious trouble." I think we all agree, but don't forget, we have all been saying we're not even sure Bo Nix is the answer for about 2 seasons. So I don't know if we want to overreact to the fact that it's not Bo Nix. I'm not saying it's good as Jared Stidham, but Bo Nix has not been Joe Montana yet. So to me, the reaction in this is just hilarious that all of a sudden it's like because it's Bo Nix and it's Jared Stidham and not Bo Nix. The reactions have been enormously funny to me.
That is very disrespectful to Bo Nix. I think Stidham's 1-3 in his career, and he's just
I'm not saying, listen, I'm just saying for 2 years, people have been ripping Bo Nix, saying he's not even that good. And now all of a sudden, everyone's like, how can the Broncos get to the Super Bowl without Bo Nix? That's all I'm saying.
it's true.
Matt Mitchell has a statement that he likes to make at the end of every year. He's unable to get on the camera right now, so I'm just going to make it for him. Producer Matt Mitchell had his guts ripped out by another Buffalo Bills playoff loss because both gamblers and Buffalo fans know that it is only through suffering we can truly feel alive. He's asked me to read our annual quotation from 19th century Russian novelist and friend of the show, Fyodor Dostoevsky, because don't forget, we are the most literate sports betting podcast in America. Let me get my glasses on to make sure I don't miss anything here. I exist in thousands of agonies. I exist. I'm tormented on the rock, but I exist. Though I sit alone in a pillar, I exist. I see the sun. And if I don't see the sun, I know it's there. And there's a whole life in that, in knowing that the sun is there. Matt Mitchell speaks for all gutted football fans, as does our friend Dostoevsky. Hat tip to you, my friend. Hey, listen, don't forget, Simon, I am in Miami right now, thanks to our friends at Hard Rock Bet, because I am going to see the Hoosiers play the Miami Hurricanes in the national championship game at Hard Rock Stadium, not far away from Hard Rock Stadium, the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, home of the Guitar Hotel, which is incredible. I've stayed there. I've played there. I've eaten way too much there. I loved it. They are sponsoring the prize in our Pro Football Pick'em contest, which is a trip at that exact hotel. I'll be in the sports book tomorrow, mid-afternoon, hanging out before I go to my IU tailgates. I'm going to be betting on the Hard Rock Bet app. I started doing it today when I got unpacked in Florida. It's been amazing. It's the only legal sports betting app in the state of Florida. Hard Rock will also be handing out profit boost tokens to use at the game, and select VIPs will get instant bonus bets dropped right into their accounts. So be sure to check it out. All right, buddy. One last game. We had the Rams minus 4.5 at Chicago. Look, the good news is that the bet we really loved, we kept telling people to take all week, was the under in the first half at 25.5, 24.5. Covered, no sweat, fantastic. 14 quick points, but then things settled down. And then, as always with the Bears, pure freaking chaos. Holy tamale. That Caleb, it's just, we talk about coaches, right? Last year he had Matt Eberflus. Can you imagine what a waste of a year it was to have Matt Eberflus coaching that team? I can't, no one tell me the GM knew that Ben Johnson was going to be available and that's when we were going to get him. Like, what a waste of a year, and how glorious is Caleb Williams at quarterback. It's, I hope it's not a Josh Allen thing.
He's good, but he's got to find consistency somewhere eventually. That was just the type of game where it's like your defense gave you Super Bowl worthy game. Like Brisker, how many times did we hear his name in that game? Just an incredible safety play. And McVay and Stafford, they acted like they'd never seen a corner of blitz before. It was bizarre. They should have let you guys up for 400 yards passing. They couldn't figure it out. And on top of that, it felt like they could get 7 yards a pop anytime they ran it, but
they didn't.
McVay couldn't stop trying to drop back and just throw the ball. It was very bizarre. I'm obviously I'm hurt that we didn't get the cover. I mean, that was brutal. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are you gonna do, people? It was a 4th and 4, 25-yard backdrop off his back foot to what probably was a push off, but at the same time, you can't throw a flag there. Even if Rams fans are like, dude, that's clear a push off, which it was. It's like, dude, you really want them to throw a flag on that type of play? Like that's what, like, again, the Bills game, I know it ruined a lot of bad taste in people's mouth. You can't let the refs dictate this stuff. And like, as a bitter Eagles fan from the Chiefs Super Bowl 3 years ago, I hate it. So it's like, I love they let the boys play in that one. They let that play stand, because they would have called a penalty there. It just would have been awful. Like, again, brutal. We didn't get the cover. But yeah, that stat I gave out held true. Basically, these teams that are dogs in the wild card round, that are dogs again in the divisional round, it's just so hard to win. Whatever it is, NFL, it's just so brutal to win as a dog. The books know. And coming into this game since 2018, those teams in that exact spot were 3-20 straight up. They went 0-3 this weekend, right? 49ers lost, Bills lost, and obviously the Bears lost. So yeah, that was, brutal not to first get the cover. That one hurt, but yeah, that's playoff football. It's crazy. And like you said, thank God our biggest and favorite bet on this game was that first half under, which I won't lie to you, Chad. That first drive of the Bears, I'm like, my God, Bears might put up 21 points themselves in this first half. But what happened is what we expect, right? They get jitters. I think they failed on a 4th down the red zone as well, the Bears, and ended 10-10 first half. So went way under. I think we gave it out 25.5 and might have closed at 23.5 and it still hit.
Well, we gave it out 25.5, 24.5. It was Chad. It was my choice in Sharp versus Square, which we'll get to in a second. Let me ask you a question. As an impartial bettor and a professional, this game, that play, it's magnificent. It will go up there as one of the greatest 4th and 4. It's one of the greatest playoff plays that we've seen in a generation.
Didn't need anything.
Still.
No, I'm sorry, buddy. He blew it with that pick. It was an incredible play. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, that's, again, you get 15 more years of it. I'd be happy, but maybe they show on the highlight reel, but it means nothing. I mean, it was an incredible play, but come on now.
Here's my point.
He threw a pick in overtime. Like, he should have just
no. You're missing it. You're missing it. Hold on. The point is, as a sports fan, the opportunity to see that play, to have that happen and actually experience it,
Oh, it's all timer. It
it's
was the best.
all-timer.
Yeah, it was the best throw
Is
I could
it
have watched
worth it
in years.
to lose the bet? To having seen something like that,
No,
memorable,
it's
never
ridiculous.
seen.
I should have a ton of money in my account. That's the dumbest way to lose money. It's like an improbable pass. He was deader than dead. Just, he's like we talked. I said coming in the league, he's got the same type of ability that Rodgers, Mahomes type, right? This
Yeah.
weird contortion of their body, back foot, so much raw talent and power in their arm, and that's why you love the guy. It's like that's just a true God given ability play, right? There is no thinking. He's thrown off his back foot, last second corner of his eye. He sees just a flash of color of his own team in that corner and just threw it up. Like that easily could have been a pick as well. So it's just incredible how talented he is. He threw it to the only spot his guy was going to be where everything else is going on. So no, like you said, it's an incredible play, but it's for Nada. So that's what kind of sucks. Where it's like, if they would have won, I mean, come on, we'd be talking about that play for nonstop for 6 days. Like it would just be all we could talk about. It's incredible, but yeah, that was a tough loss, brother.
I normally don't feel this way, but I do feel like we had three there. Like last week was a bad week. This week feels like we had just three fluky bad beats this week with those two totals and the rash of turnovers and losing that Bears game, which I'm happy to do, given the thrill and the opportunity to keep playing on that 4th and 4 Hail Mary.
Yeah, like you said, we blew a dead Denver game. We should have stuck to our guns with the over. Should have stuck to our guns with Denver.
Yes.
But that's why this contest is so fun and hard. Where it's like, I think we would have had 3 plays. We'd have had Patriots first half. We would have had Denver first half. We would have had the Bears under first half
Yes.
in our contest, and that's why I like our contest because it's so hard. Where it's like, you don't get those easy outs. You got to pick side or total. But yeah, like you said, just not did not bounce our way this week, and hopefully, another week next week. Hopefully we can turn it around.
All right. Quick word from our friends at Hard Rock Bet. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet, with Miami making the national championship. Hard Rock Stadium will be rocking, and if you're going to the game, Hard Rock Bet is giving you a $10 bonus bet to get in on the action. If you're watching the game out in Miami, head to the Hard Rock Cafe Miami, Duffy's North Miami Beach, American Social Miami, and Batch Brickell. Hard Rock Bet is dropping $10 bonus bets there too. You can turn that free $10 bonus bet into a big win by placing the same game parlay, or even if you're just watching the game at home, there's still no better place to bet the natty than Hard Rock Bet because it's Florida Sportsbook. So they're going crazy with promos for this one. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. And if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but also an extra $150 in bonus bets. Even if your team may be out of the playoffs, that doesn't mean you have to sit on the sidelines. Between same-game parlays, live betting, a can't-miss welcome offer, and new promos dropping every day, Hard Rock Bet has you covered all postseason long. That's Hard Rock Bet. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. All right, Simon. TR1 is asking something that I meant to ask, so I'm glad he's bringing it up and he's in the live chat right now. I don't know what direction. I was going to be really excited to talk about CJ Stroud when we do our previews next year, because I think he's gotten the benefit of the past 2 years, but he has not progressed. He's regressed consistently. It's been a couple offensive coordinators. It's been bad offensive line play. He's had issues with his receivers being injured. But when we're talking about CJ Stroud in the summer, are we talking about CJ Stroud as a quarterback who can lead his team to the Super Bowl? Are we talking about CJ Stroud? This is the question being asked from TR1. Like, are they excited to pick up his 5th-year option? Do they have him play into it? What's your take on that?
Yeah, you got to pick it up. You got to pay him. And if Kirk Cousins gets paid millions and millions of dollars, you got to pay CJ. Like this is, yeah, he's looked bad and he's underperformed, but he's now won a playoff game every season he's been a pro in the NFL. And we talk all the time, like, I know we poo-poo it when it comes to Jalen Hurts, but these other quarterbacks, the playoffs matter. It really does. You see how hard it is. It's so intense. Every little play matters. And, CJ something's up with him for sure in these playoffs, right? You can't ignore how bad he's been in the playoffs. And, in a meaningless game against the Colts in October, he lights them up. But when he's playing a legit defense here in the playoffs, he's just every time seems to struggle. He just can't play smart. And with that defense, yeah, it's a big weakness. But I think they're stuck. Like, I don't know what they could do. You got to pick up the fifth option. I think you got to give him a contract, and you just got to let it play out. But they just have to every year draft offensive linemen. Like this offensive line, he's never had a good offensive line. So to me, it's a built-in excuse, of course, but it's the same thing we say with Justin Herbert. Like, give the man time. I think he'll be better in the playoffs. And the same thing with CJ. I think if CJ has more time, he loses some of these bad habits. I think he can get back to what he was. But yeah, I mean, we do a top 10 list. I don't know if either of us are going to have our top 10 next year. It's definitely not been a good 2 seasons now for CJ.
Definitely below Justin Herbert. Simon says was Denver plus 1.5. Chad's choice was Seattle, San Francisco. Under 45.5. Brass balls was New England, Houston. Under 40.5. Rock and a hard place was Chicago and LA. First half under 24. Sharp versus square. I had Chicago, LA first half under 24. I can't remember who you had, and I left my notes in Connecticut. Do you remember who you had?
Yeah, sharp for square. I was on the Patriots, baby.
Oh, that's right. You had the Patriots minus 3.5.
Yeah.
Great bet. All right.
Honestly, I didn't do the spread that I said. I just did the money line, but still. When you bet big enough, that's the way to go. Play it safe.
Patriots minus 3.5. That was the win this week. New England, Houston under 40.5. Loser, San Francisco plus 7.5. Loser, Seattle, San Francisco under 45.5. Tough loss, Rams minus 4.5. Tough loss. This has been Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back with our next Sharper Square on Tuesday to go over the.
Wait, 1 sec before you run out of here, Chad. How are you feeling? The number's now down to minus 7.5 on your Hoosiers. Sharp money coming in on Miami. How you feeling 24 hours out?
Well, listen, I bet the Hoosiers at minus 7.5 while I'm here in Florida because I've been getting that number here. I feel great. I feel fantastic. Like I have no reason not to. I was nervous before Alabama. The way we played against Alabama, and then the way we played against Oregon made me remember that we're a super disciplined football team with highly skilled athletes. And so I'm going to continue to believe and be confident. And I'll have more on that tomorrow on my social channels from the Hard Rock Casino Sportsbook in Florida, the only legal place to bet on sports in the state. By the way, we're going to talk about this in much more detail, obviously, but early lines, Denver plus 5.5 at home against the New England Patriots, and the Los Angeles Rams plus 2.5 on the road at the Seattle Seahawks. This has been Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back with our Sharper Square on Tuesday to go over the entire NFL slate. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Also download some Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, leave 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.
The road to the Super Bowl is like a mythic quest. It's a demanding journey, an adventure that creates heroes.